Projectile motion occurs when objects are fired at some initial velocity or happen and moves under influence of gravity. One of the most important things about projectile motion is that the effect of the gravity is independent on the horizontal motion of the object. The independence of the horizontal motion of the object and the components of the object are often used in this type of physical problem. So C++ has grown rapidly in response to the practical need for programming language that is able to efficiently handle composite and diverse data types. We can run simulation about the theorem in the computer. Although calculus formula is normally given, but computers are necessary to compute accurate trajectories for higher flying objects such as ballistic missiles and cannonballs. So far, computers cannot figure out what they are supposed to do on their own, and thus they rely on programs such as these C++ programs, which we create, which are sets of instructions that the computer can understand and follow. Thus, we can run the simulation to carry out this research.
As for theory, projectile is a body with some initial velocity, which is then allowed to move under the action of gravity. A projectile moves at a constant speed in the horizontal direction while experiencing a constant acceleration of 9.81 downwards in the vertical direction. To be consistent, we define the upward direction to be the positive direction. Therefore, the acceleration of gravity is negative 9.81. To determine the velocity of a projectile, we combine the horizontal velocity, which is the Vx, and the vertical velocity Vy. Using as for vertical motion of projectile, the vertical velocity changes constantly because gravity has downward pull. As for the horizontal motion of the projectile, the speed in the horizontal direction is Vx, and this speed doesn't change. The equation which predicts the position at any time in the horizontal direction is simply x equals to the velocity times the time.
Assalamualaikum. So this is the methodology that we use for our question, for our project. The method that we use in the C++ program is the while statement, which is the loop program. You can see is the while statement. This is the while statement. So the while statement means that we have the while, and then we have the condition, which is the condition for this program is the v is greater or equal to 0. So if the condition, if the value is below than 0, then there is no execute. So while statement for this question means that if the condition, which means v equals or greater to 0, the program will execute. If not, then the program is not execute. So the methodology for our C++ program that we are using loop is while statement. Okay, thank you.
Assalamualaikum. So today I am going to explain about pseudocode of our programming code. And first I am going to explain about the flowchart symbol. An oval denotes the beginning or end of a program. A parallelogram denotes either an input to be input or an output to be printed. And rectangle denotes a process to be carried out. Diamond denotes a decision or branch to be made. When there is decision, so we'll be using diamond shape in the flowchart pseudocode. Okay, so in our program,
for a certain program to run, we must include hashtag include IOStream, hashtag include CMath for math equation, and using namespace std and integer main is compulsory for every program that must be run. Next, we must declare the variables that is in the question. Velocity initial, x final is equals to 0, x initial is equals to 0, and constant time is equals to 0.01, and x is 0. Next is the constant variables that were in the question, which is constant double, constant delta t. Cout, please input initial velocity of the cannonball to give the user to input the initial velocity in the program. Next is see in the velocity initial so that we can insert the value. We use the looping of while with the condition of velocity initial is more is equals to 0. Next is the conditional x is equals x initial with the cout x initial. Velocity initial is equals to velocity initial minus the constant variables that were given in the question. X is equal to 0 is the constant, and time multiple by time plus x initial multiple by time. Time is equals to plus 0.01. So to obtain the velocity of the cannonball, we must cout the variable. To cout the new position of the cannonball is needed to input every new position of the cannonball. Lastly, to obtain the exact position of the cannonball, you must cout the question by putting the exact position of the cannonball is with the unit and return 0 to end the program.